¿Usted está dispuesto a pedirle perdón al país por esas heridas profundas de la guerra que han cometido las...
Sí, pero es que eso no ha sido un problema de las FARC, ni un problema mío o de X o Y comandante, no es la dinámica de la guerra.
Pero independientemente de eso, ¿usted estaría dispuesto a decir a las víctimas de...
Pero es que cuando uno pide perdón es porque se arrepintió de haber hecho algo. Yo no me estoy arrepintiendo de haber hecho lo que haya hecho. Lo que he hecho, de ser guerrillero a esta altura de la vida, y lo sigo siendo. Si yo me arrepiento de eso, soy inconsecuente con mis convicciones. Que en determinado momento analicemos un hecho en el contexto en que se dio y decimos, hombre, ahí cometimos un error, nos equivocamos en la decisión que tomamos. Eso es distinto.
¿Tiene identificados algunos de esos errores? Bojayá, la retención de víctimas por tantos años, las cárceles...
¿Pero cuáles las víctimas de por tantos años? Los soldados prisioneros de guerra.
Los soldados prisioneros de guerra.
Esa responsabilidad la debe asumir el Estado. Somos capaces de firmar el acuerdo, que no es la paz.
No.
Llegamos a un punto de partida donde se inicia una etapa bastante dura. Que hacia dónde vamos y cómo es que lo vamos a hacer para alcanzar la paz. Por lo menos inicialmente esta primera meta, alcanzar el acuerdo final y la implementación de los acuerdos, que ese es el acuerdo de La Habana, que le llaman la agenda, lo dice muy clarito. Hay un sexto punto que es la implementación.
Sí.
Aquí lo tengo con las firmas de los participantes en el momento. Que esto es lo que hay que difundir, decirles, mire, aquí, que a una vez se le extraña, y dice, pero el gobierno, ¿por qué no lo dice? Aquí sexto, implementación, verificación y refrendación. La firma del acuerdo final da inicio a la implementación de todos los puntos acordados.
Yo recuerdo a Manuel Marulanda en una entrevista que le hicieron, creo que de la televisión suiza, donde él decía, le preguntaban, ¿ustedes por qué luchan? Nosotros decíamos, nosotros luchamos por la toma del poder y la construcción del socialismo. La FARC de hoy, las que ustedes como comandantes llevan adelante y representan, ¿siguen pensando de esta misma manera?
De igual forma, sí. Estamos nosotros tratando de avanzar a un estadio que nos permita seguir desarrollando esa lucha en condiciones mejores. Pero nuestro propósito es el socialismo. De eso no debe caber ni la menor duda en nadie, porque sabemos que ese es el sistema que nos va a dar verdadera democracia, justicia social, nos va a dar una paz estable y duradera, y nos va a dar soberanía y sobre todo dignidad, porque el socialismo es humanidad.
¿Están preparados para pedir perdón si esa es una cuestión innegociable? ¿De qué dices, Andrés?
Quizás. Cuando tú me dices, bueno, usted va a pedir perdón, y yo le digo, ¿perdón a quién? ¿Perdón por qué? ¿Perdón por levantarme en armas? ¿Perdón por defender las banderas de la justicia social?
Yo le digo, ¿por qué, señor Catatumbo? Perdón por los cilindros bomba, por los secuestros, por las minas antipersonales, perdón por el reclutamiento de menores. ¿Quiere que sí?
10 richest terror organizations. Number 10. The Real IRA. Location, Ireland and the UK. Annual revenue, $50 million. Since their formation in 1997, the Real IRA have claimed responsibility for over 50 attempted bombings across the UK, including attacks on the BBC and MI6. Their bombing in Omar left 28 people dead, including 6 children, one just 18 months old. Fighting to remove Northern Ireland from the UK and create a united Irish state, they're funded by donations from some of the USA's 35 million Irish Americans, as well as illegal trade in electronics, oil, and even cattle smuggling. Number 9. Boko Haram. Location, Nigeria and Cameroon. Annual revenue, $52 million. Kidnapping is one of Boko Haram's key incomes. In 2013, they received $3 million to free a single family, and in 2014 they snatched 276 schoolgirls, selling many into slavery. This revenue is supplemented by bank robberies and collaborations with drug cartels. Their campaign to stamp out Western influence and enforce Sharia law is ongoing. Their deadliest attack came in January 2015, when they massacred up to 2,000 people, burning many alive in their own homes.
Boko Haram went house to house, searching for civilians, pulling them out of their homes and shooting them in the streets.
Number 8. Al-Shabaab. Location, Somalia. annual revenue $70 million.
These people are here to cause havoc. They're barbaric.
Created to overthrow the Somalian government in order to form an Islamic caliphate, Al-Shabaab collects an estimated $50 million annually through tolls and taxes. Their revenue funds attacks like the 2013 Kenyan shopping mall siege. Lasting 4 days, they claimed 67 civilian lives. They've called for similar attacks on the Mall of America and London's Oxford Circus. Imposing the rarely used Islamic hudud law, in 2013 a 13-year-old rape victim was stoned to death for adultery. Number 7. Lashkar-e-Taiba. Location Pakistan and India. Annual revenue $100 million. Seeking to end Indian rule in Kashmir, this group are renowned for committing Fidayeen attacks, where heavily armed suicide squads hit selected targets. One 4-day raid in 2008 saw 12 attacks involving bombings and shootings carried out across Mumbai. The 10 gunmen responsible killed 166 people and injured over 600. Donations from Pakistani expatriates largely contribute to their $100 million revenue. It's rumoured that ISI, Pakistan's intelligence agency, also supply money in return for attacks against India. Number 6. Al-Qaeda. Location, main branches in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Annual revenue, $150 million. Formed by Osama bin Laden in the aftermath of the Soviet war in Afghanistan, Al-Qaeda's aims include expelling all non-Muslims from the Arabian Peninsula. As part of their jihadist campaign against the USA and its allies, on September the 11th, 2001, they committed the deadliest terror attack in history, killing almost 3,000 people and ushering in the War on Terror. Today, funding primarily comes from drug trafficking and kidnapping. Unproven theories suggest that their initial funding and training stemmed from the CIA. Number 5. The Taliban. Location, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Annual revenue, $400 million. Seeking to regain control of Afghanistan, the Taliban use funds from their extensive opium and heroin ring to wage a powerful insurgency against the US-led forces in the region. During their 1996 to 2001 rule of the country, football stadiums became scenes of execution where lawbreakers were stoned to death or buried alive in front of huge crowds. They even carried out an ethnic cleansing campaign against the Hazara people, massacring 8,000 civilians in one siege, locking many in containers until they suffocated. Number 4. Hezbollah. Location, Lebanon. Annual revenue, $500 million. Described as the A-team of terrorists, prior to 9/11 these Shia militants were the terror group to have killed the most Americans. Formed during the 1980s Israeli invasion of Lebanon, they've evolved into a political party. Many countries don't classify the entire organization as terrorists. Their income stems from drug smuggling and donations. They annually receive an estimated $250 million from Iran. With an arsenal of 50,000 rockets, they fire them into Israeli towns, hitting schools and hospitals. Number 3. The FARC. Location, Colombia. Annual revenue, $600 million. Fighting the capitalist regime in Colombia, the FARC controls 30% of the country from their base in the country's jungle. Responsible for one of the world's largest drug trafficking networks, they're behind 50% of global cocaine sales, generating $500 million each year. They also kidnap and demand ransoms, currently holding 700 people captive, primarily wealthy businessmen. During their 2012 attempts to paralyze Colombia's infrastructure, they toppled electricity towers, blew up transmission lines with dynamite, and planted landmines, killing those attempting to restore power. Number 2. Hamas. Location, West Bank and Gaza Strip. Annual revenue, $1 billion. Aiming to form a Palestinian state at the expense of Israel, Hamas diverts 15% of Gaza's economy into its own accounts. They also receive millions of dollars annually from Qatar. While Hamas is generally recognized as a political organization, several states classify its military wing, the Izz ad-Din al-Qassam Brigades, as terrorists. They've been responsible for suicide bombings and rocket attacks into Israel. Between 2000 and 2006, they're thought to have carried out 51 suicide attacks, killing 272 people. Number 1. ISIS. Location, Iraq and Syria. Annual revenue, $2 billion. The richest terrorist group in history are thought to earn $3 million a day from oil, earning additional revenue through taxation and looting. They hope to create an Islamic State across the Middle East by using their 80,000 fighters to slaughter those they consider infidels. In 2014 they killed 5,000 Yazidi people and sold another 7,000 into slavery. So violent that even Al-Qaeda cut links to them. Footage shows them throwing gay men from buildings and burning captives alive in cages.
It's just one more indication of the viciousness and barbarity of this organization.
The growth and, some might say, success of these terrorist organizations is terrifying. But some conspiracy theorists believe that Western governments, and the USA in particular, have found a way to make use of their success. And by that we ask the question, does the USA use terror to start wars? Click here to find out on all-time conspiracies.